Welcome to Canadian Football League Weekly, presented by the World of Football. Each week, we recap the games played up north in the CFL, and we also look ahead to next week's games. Our mission here is to educate American football fans on the teams and players in the CFL in the hopes that you will come to love this league as much as we do. I'm Randy Snow, and I'm joined by my son, Adam.
Hi, everybody. Happy Canada Day, Canada. We
Happy
love
Canada
you. Oh, that's all you got for our
That's
Canadian friends north of the border? Hey, we love the CFL. We love talking, CFL football. They had a pretty interesting weekend of football we're going to jump into, I'm sure.
Some really good games played up there. So let's just get right into the scores from week 4 in the CFL. On Thursday night, it was the Winnipeg Blue Bombers over the Edmonton Elks 36-23. Edmonton scored first to take an early 7-0 lead and was up 10-6 in the second quarter, but it was Winnipeg who led 23-13 at halftime. The score was tied 23-23 going into the fourth quarter, but the Elks were shut out 13-0 in the fourth quarter as Winnipeg remains undefeated on the season. Anything you want to say before we look at some stats from this game?
Other than, man, I feel bad. Trey Ford just can't catch a break.
Yeah, we love Trey Ford. We think he's great.
He's a great quarterback, but man, this team just cannot get the W at the end of the day. It's tough.
Yeah.
I mean, he had flashes of looking really good. He had flashes of, a few struggles here and there. That Winnipeg defense definitely came through when it mattered. I want to say just across all these games, from this game to the last game we're going to talk about today, the physicality of the CFL was on full display this weekend.
Yeah.
We caught some of this game Thursday night, and these guys hit, and they hit pretty hard.
Yes, they do.
But to focus specifically on this game, God, Zach Collaros, when he's playing for that team, they're a totally different ball club, and it's no wonder why they have been in the Grey Cup the last 5 years. We'll talk about the overall scope of the CFL, but you're looking at one of the best teams right here in the Winnipeg Blue Bombers team. And for the Elks, I can't even, even though they'll record-wise, they'll be looked at as the worst team in the league. I see flashes of what they could do, and it's just, they just can't get it all together.
Yeah, well, let's look at those stats. Winnipeg quarterback Zach Collaros was 25 of 30 passing for 334 yards and 3 touchdowns. He also had a 13-yard rushing touchdown on his own. Wide receiver Nick Dembski had 5 catches for 97 yards and 2 touchdowns in the game.
Okay, Dembski, real quick, he had a couple of unreal catches in this game, too. Dembski, I get a lot of people the quarterback put the ball in the right spot, and don't get me wrong, Collaros did, and he was awesome. He looked great. He dropped some dimes, but the mental fortitude you have to have, like Nick Dembski on a couple of those plays, off the charts, awesome. The control, the way he made those plays, a couple of great highlight catches for the year probably were phenomenal.
Yeah.
So,
and for Edmonton, quarterback Trey Ford, he was 18 of 29 passing for 252 yards and a touchdown. Wide receiver Keon Julian Grant had 5 catches for 115 yards and a touchdown. My big takeaway from this game is that Winnipeg is just a football machine right now. They're playing good on offense. They're playing good on defense. Their running game is stellar. The passing game is stellar. I don't know if they're going to lose a game all season. I'm sure they'll lose some games here and there. But, man, they sure look good this early in the season.
They sure do, and it hasn't mattered who's played quarterback for them. They're one of those teams that you can plug a different dude in, and the next man up. They're just that team. They've been built that way for years under a great head coach. They have a great system in place. You can't deny why this team has made it to 5 straight Grey Cups. Yep. Yes, they lost the last couple, but they've got that DNA to where I would not shock me they make it to a 6th. Won't shock me they make it to a 7th. Dare I say, it wouldn't shock me if they made it to an 8th at this point, some of these guys. But they're that good. And because of some stuff that we're going to talk about here in a second, they might be the best team in the league yet again. I don't know, last year we had that little scare for about 5 or 6 weeks where they were 2-4. Right. And we weren't even sure if they were going to make the playoffs. And they they surged back. So while it is also early, and like you said, they could lose a game, they could drop a game along the way here, and I don't think you need to be worried about it. And we'll say the same thing about the next game coming up. You don't have to be worried. It's early in the season, so I mean, Winnipeg just keeps doing what Winnipeg does.
Yeah, that's why I'm wearing the Winnipeg Blue Bombers shirt today. I've got shirts for all the teams, and whoever's having a really good game that week, I'm going to highlight them with a different shirt every week. So let's move on to the next game. On Friday night, it was the Hamilton Tiger Cats defeating the Montreal Alouettes by the score of 35-17. The score was tied at the end of the first quarter, 1-1.
Love it.
That's awesome. The CFL for you. But then Hamilton led 8-4 at halftime. So this was kind of a snooze fest in the first half. But in the third quarter, Hamilton defensive back Devin Versuk, I think is how you pronounce it, intercepted a tipped pass and returned it 37 yards for a touchdown and an 18-7 Hamilton lead. Late in the fourth quarter, defensive lineman Julian Hauser recovered a fumble in the end zone for a touchdown to give Hamilton a 32-17 lead, and an added field goal at the end that made the final score 35-17. This was the first win of the season for Hamilton and the first loss of the season for Montreal. What do you think about this game?
Our friend Tim Capper, who's got the Alouettes Flight Deck show on YouTube, and he's got the podcast feed. We watched his show after this game because we were watching this in the hotel room because we were in Albany, New York over the weekend. So we were watching his show a little bit, and this was very uncharacteristic for the Alouettes. This wasn't the team I expected to show up. They had, they didn't have their starting quarterback. Davis Alexander didn't play. So they had McLeod Bethel Thompson, a Grey Cup winning quarterback. Sounds like that he might not have had as many reps as you would like as a backup quarterback going into the game or into the season. So maybe he came in with a little rust. I mean, he had a couple passes that looked pretty good, but the big difference maker to me in this game, kind of watching, I could be totally wrong. Like I don't watch every Alouettes game, so at least to the extent of like our buddies over at the Alouettes Flight Deck, go check out their show. But it seemed to me like this game, while Hamilton was great, and I'm not taking anything away from Hamilton, this game did come down to those two mistakes by the Alouettes. Yeah. That's kind of the difference maker. I think it's a 15-point loss. So, it ended up being an 18-point loss. But at one point, they were down 15, and these two big turnovers, the tipped interception and then the sack fumble in the end zone, just cripple any of your chances at making it a closer ball game. So, the Alouettes probably could have had this game, but Hamilton did what they needed to do, and what a great crowd in Hamilton, by the way. We love y'all in Hamilton. We love going to games there. It's a great stadium, great fans. I loved my time in Hamilton when we went to that game, or a couple games there. Yeah. So good that they got in the win column, but the eyesore that is their H uniforms, the all gray onesie, guys. Maybe they like it in Hamilton, and that's all that matters. As long as you like your team's uniforms, that's all that matters. Who am I? Some schmuck in America to condemn those uniforms. But they're ugly, they're hideous, and I wouldn't want my worst enemy in those things. So.
Yeah, I don't care for those gray uniforms and the H helmets either.
But I admire the broadcast team for whenever they do stuff like that, putting the logo of the H on the score bug. I mean, I love little details like that, so I'll give that to you. TSN, CBS. Well, it's not CBS Sports, so it's TSN.
They even replaced the Ticats logo on the field with the H logo for this game. So I mean, that's
heck yeah.
They must really
it's
like
the little
it there,
things, Randy, that I appreciate like that. You get on me for that, but that's the stuff I love. that synergy, that look. I like the consistency.
All right, looking at some stats from this game, Hamilton quarterback Bo Levi Mitchell, 25 of 31 passing for 247 yards and 2 touchdowns. Wide receiver Tim White had 9 catches for 78 yards and a touchdown. For Montreal, quarterback McLeod Bethel Thompson was 24 of 41 passing for 203 yards, a touchdown, and 2 interceptions. Wide receiver Cole Speaker had 6 catches for 57 yards and a touchdown. Yeah, notes from this game, I agree with you. I don't like those gray uniforms. Obviously, they like them up there, so whatever. But I never cared for them. The defense really came to play in this game. Uh, they were something else. And then for McLeod Bethel, or I'm sorry, for Bo Levi Mitchell, this was his 100th career win. Um, in the CFL, and that's awesome. He came close last week, but they lost, and so he had to wait till this week to get number 100 on his career.
Yeah, they say he's the fastest quarterback to hit that 100 win record. So impressive milestone for him. I mean, he's always been a fun QB to watch. That's his 100th win and his 143rd career start.
Wow.
So pretty awesome there for him.
Okay. Well, that's it for this game. Let's take a moment to plug our regular show here. We have a weekly podcast, an audio podcast called This Week in the World of Football. And tonight we're going to be celebrating our 400th episode. We started this back in 2017. It's been about 8 years. And it's our 400th episode tonight on Canada Day. So join us tonight on YouTube and X and where else? Facebook?
Those three, yep.
Okay. Yeah, join us on any one of those places. Live tonight, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's our very first live show. Could be a train wreck. Could be the greatest thing you've ever seen on YouTube. Awesome, so we'll find out. We've got several special guests coming in at various points tonight. So yeah, come and check it out if you've never seen this before. On our regular podcast, and maybe just only watch this Canadian weekly show. Check it out. We talk everything. We're going to talk women's tackle football. We're going to talk indoor and arena leagues, CFL. We're going to talk. We've got news from the NFL, and just you name it. We're all over the place. So join us tonight, live stream, 6 p.m. Eastern Time for our 400th show. Should be a good time. All right, let's go on with the last two games of the weekend here. On Saturday, it was the Saskatchewan Roughriders over the BC Lions 37-18. Saskatchewan led this game 16-7 at halftime, thanks to an 89-yard interception return for a touchdown by Saskatchewan defensive back Tevon Campbell. Saskatchewan led 23-10 at the end of the third quarter. In the fourth quarter, BC quarterback Jeremiah Mazzoli threw 2 interceptions on the way to a 37-18 win for Saskatchewan. It just that interception return was awesome. That was the highlight of the game, obviously.
Defense was kind of a running theme through this weekend too. I mean, I talked about the hard hits, but man, a lot of awesome defensive plays, and we haven't even talked about some of the best ones. That's yet to come. Heck of a one in this one. And I have, me, I've been talking about it for 4 weeks now that Saskatchewan defense has just impressed the crap out of me. They could be a difference maker here, maybe even against the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. I cannot wait for those two teams to square up now because those are the last 2 unbeaten teams in the CFL. And boy, oh boy, I hope they stay unbeaten by the time they get to match up because that should be a great one. That is you stop everything you're doing. You tune into the television for that. But this Saskatchewan team's been so fun to watch this year. While we're always kind of Argos fans, every year we kind of there's like a hot team or a team you don't expect. And you're like, you know what, I'm kind of pulling for this other team this year, see what they can do. Saskatchewan has been that team for me for several years. Like they always seem like maybe this is the year. Maybe this is the year they put it together, especially since we started this show. But I am so down for Saskatchewan this year. They're kind of my other team. First is Argos, always. Second is probably Saskatchewan this year. As much as I like Hamilton, we love all the teams.
Right.
But something about Saskatchewan. I need to get to a game, Randy. Gosh dang it. God. That is the stadium I want so bad.
You want to get to a Saskatchewan game really bad. My goal now is to go and see all the stadiums in the CFL. We've seen 3 of them now. So got 6 to go. So yeah, I'd be down for going to Saskatchewan sometime. All right, let's look at some of the stats from this game. Saskatchewan quarterback Jake Mayer was 13 of 23 passing for 170 yards and a touchdown. Running back A.J. Olette had 23 carries for 139 yards and a touchdown. And wide receiver Dell Duncan Busby, what a great name, had 2 catches for 40 yards and a touchdown. Kicker Brett Lothar kicked 5 field goals in this game. And for BC, quarterback Jeremiah Mazzoli, he was 16 of 29 passing for 173 yards, a touchdown, and 3 interceptions. Running back James Butler ran the ball 17 times for 123 yards and a touchdown. And wide receiver Keon Hatcher had 3 catches for 44 yards and a touchdown. Yeah, that AJ Olette, man, he was a battering ram.
Awesome.
Running
Love
the ball,
that dude.
man. Oh man, yeah.
He's so
Yeah.
much fun to watch.
Yeah. And the thing that I caught from this game was that both of the teams wore their indigenous logo helmets. I didn't notice it at first, and then I noticed the Saskatchewan one, and when I looked at, I'm pretty sure that was the indigenous logo helmet for BC also. And the graphics, the graphics on the screen, they had the indigenous logos for the two teams, and I love all their indigenous designed logos up there. And I want to get many helmets of all those indigenous logos. They're all so cool.
They're great. Yeah, I don't know if they sell them officially places, but I did find a link to some that look pretty nice and pretty official.
You sent me that,
so
yeah. I'm thinking about putting down some money on those.
That might be worth the money. I mean, definitely. Like I already liked. I think my favorite is that Saskatchewan Rough Riders. That's probably the one I would lean towards. Yeah. So, yeah, if you get a chance to get one of those.
Yeah, I definitely want to get the Toronto one to add to my collection of helmets from that team. But yeah, I would love to have every one of them, and they're all so cool. All right, let's move on to the last game here. Was this Saturday or Sunday?
The last game was on Sunday.
Okay, see, I wrote down Saturday again. My mistake.
Yep.
On Sunday, it was the Toronto Argonauts over the Ottawa Red Blacks, 29-16. Toronto led this game by the score of 4-0 at the end of the first quarter. In the second quarter, Toronto rookie defensive back Derek Sluka, that's how you pronounce it. It's spelled really weird, but they pronounce it Sluka, recovered a fumble and returned it 105 yards for a touchdown. Most of you American fans are going, you can't do that. They got a 110-yard regulation field, so he picked it up about the 5-yard line and ran 105 yards for a touchdown. That was an incredible highlight. That gave Toronto an 18-3 lead going into halftime. In the third quarter, Sluka recovered a blocked field goal in the end zone and returned it 120 yards for another touchdown. So he was 10 yards deep in the end zone. 2 touchdowns like that in one game. Even the announcers going, I've never seen anything like this before.
It was incredible.
Yep. It was the first win of the season for Toronto.
Mm-hmm. It was absolutely the Sluka show. Us Argonauts fans, tip of the cap to this gentleman. He pretty much single-handedly, won this game for Toronto. I mean, it was a close one, but if it weren't for him, man. But a couple of great highlights. These are the plays that you want. These will be plays at the end of the year we're going to be talking about. Like I said, there's so many great defensive plays this weekend, capped off by Sluka's performance, which is one for I won't say the record books maybe, but just like, God, this is one you got to put up there in terms of just a great single game performance. The dude with a 105-yard fumble return for a touchdown, and then the block kick return for a touchdown. In the same game, this dude had to go 200-plus yards to score touchdowns on 2 different plays. Absolutely incredible stuff there. Put his jersey in the rafters right now, rookie season.
Yeah, I mean, having one of those in the game would be awesome, and that would be
you'd be happy with that. But this dude
the highlight of the
2.
week, and he had 2 of them, so it's just incredible. Congratulations to him. Can't wait to see what he does next week. And he's only a rookie.
Well, now anything less than a 100-yard return for a touchdown is nothing. So
yeah. Well, let's look at some stats from this game. Toronto quarterback Nick Arbuckle was 18 of 25 passing for 269 yards, a touchdown, and an interception. Wide receiver Devarius Daniels had 5 catches for 96 yards. For Ottawa, quarterback Dustin Crum was 20 of 30 passing for 235 yards, no touchdowns, and an interception. He also ran for 60 yards and had a rushing touchdown. How many U.S. quarterbacks rushed for 60 yards in a game? Not too many.
I
maybe
can think
one
of
or
a
two.
couple that might.
Right, yeah, but 60 yards rushing and a touchdown for him also. Wide receiver Eugene Lewis had 4 catches for 83 yards, and kicker Lewis Ward made 3 field goals, his longest one from 50 yards. That's pretty darn good.
Pretty darn good.
My note from this game was Toronto kicker Lyram Hiralahu wife gave birth to their first child the day before the game, and he celebrated by making 2 field goals in the game. So congratulations to him.
Yeah, good for him.
All right, anything else from this game?
Not really. We can just mention that the Calgary Stampeders were on a bye, and we can move on.
Okay. All right, looking at the CFL standings after 4 weeks in the East Division, you've got the Montreal Alouettes in first place with a 3-1 record. Hamilton Tiger Cats are now at 1-2. Toronto Argonauts and Ottawa Redblacks at 1-3. In the West Division, it's the Saskatchewan Roughriders at 4-0. Winnipeg Blue Bombers at 3-0. Calgary Stampeders at 2-1. BC Lions at 1-3. And the Edmonton Elks at 0-3. They're going to get a win here pretty soon. They've been so close every week, I think.
God, I hope so. I mean,
yeah,
I can't remember the last time a CFL team went 0 for anything, so they'll get a win eventually.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. Be looking for that. All right, looking ahead to next week, week 5. It starts out on Thursday night, where Winnipeg is going to be going to Calgary. CBS Sportsnet will be carrying that here in the States. And that's going to be the Stampede Cup game this Thursday night.
The Stampede Bowl.
Stampede Bowl. Yes, you're right. I'm sorry.
Yes.
And yeah, I'm looking forward to watching that. That should be a good time.
That should be
let's
lot
see.
of fun.
On Friday night, it's going to be Hamilton at Toronto, and that game is going to be on CFL Plus here in the States. Catch it on your laptop. It's a great streaming service. Never had any problems.
Or
with
get it, or the cast it to your TV. Come on now, if you're like me, you got a 70-inch TV for a reason. You're going to cast the Hamilton Toronto game on that big sucker.
That's why I watch it on my laptop. Let's see, because I don't have a 70-inch TV. On Saturday, it's going to be the BC Lions at the Montreal Alouettes. That game is going to be on CBS Sportsnet here in the States. And on Sunday, it's the Ottawa Redblacks at the Edmonton Elks. Will Edmonton get their first game this week? You can watch it on CBS Sportsnet and find out. And finally, the Saskatchewan Roughriders will be on a bye this week. All right, one last thing from the CFL. They made a big deal out of putting up a post the other day saying that they were going to be adding the Canadian flag to all of the uniforms. Now, up in the CFL, they've always had the Canadian flag on the back of the helmet. It's been there for years. But now they're saying they're adding it to all the uniforms. And I thought about that. I didn't really notice it, but you said you saw it on one of the uniforms?
On most of the uniforms, yeah, because they put up that post the other day about 158 years as a nation. All Canadian Football League players will probably begin wearing a patch of the Canadian flag. This flag will be worn on all home, away, and alternate jerseys as a proud reminder of the home of the CFL. When I saw this, I was like, great. The picture, that they post on social media, I was like, all right, I'm not sure how big this little patch is supposed to be, but hopefully, it'll be something you can see. And watching some of the games, it was definitely hard to find sometimes. And I'm pretty sure all the teams had this on there. I eventually saw it on every team, but it's so tiny. It's like on the left shoulder there, and it's so tiny. You got to really look for it and got to squint. I wish that the patch was a little bigger. I mean, come on, Canada. Just put a big old Canadian flag there. I think that'd be awesome. Just blow it up. But the only one I didn't see without a patch was the Alouettes away uniform. I don't know what happened. If they just didn't get around to getting all those uniforms taken care of in time for their game. Maybe going forward we'll see it, but that's the only team, I believe. If I'm wrong, somebody can correct me. That's the only team I saw without the patch. So
I'm sure there's a guy named Tim that can answer that question one way or the other for you.
I'm pretty sure during his stream they asked, I didn't see another jersey either.
Okay. All right.
So
all right. Anything else before we close the show out?
Not really, guys. Happy Canada Day. As we mentioned, we love the CFL. Obviously, we talk about it every week. So we have hours of content dedicated to this league that we love. I mean, we attended a Grey Cup, for goodness sake. If that doesn't make us fans of the CFL, I don't know what doesn't.
Yeah.
So,
all right. That's all for this week then. Tune in again next week when Adam and I will review all the games played up north of the border. We'll be here throughout the CFL regular season, the postseason, as well as the 112th Grey Cup game, which is going to be played in Winnipeg this year on November 16th. Check out highlights of all the games in the CFL each week at cfl.ca/videos. That's the official CFL website up there. If you need help, we can assist you in helping you pick out a team to follow this year. If you don't know which one to follow, we can give you some suggestions on, based on things that you like. What team should you be following up there? So you might be surprised just how much fun the CFL really is if you start watching these games. I know we love it. Check out highlights of. I already read that paragraph. All right. If you have any questions about the CFL, you can ask them in the comments. If we don't know the answer, we know people up in Canada who can answer that question for you. All right. So remember, some people may love football more than we do, but nobody, and I mean nobody, loves more football than Adam and I sitting here in Kalamazoo talking about the Canadian Football League. Until next time, I'm Randy Snow.
And take it easy on the maple syrup, Canada. Celebrate responsibly.
We'll see you all next week, somewhere around the 55-yard line.